Hi there, and welcome back to Fix My AG Doll. My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to be walking you through how I display my American Girl doll collection. And I also have some brats in there, but that's not the focus of this video. So, if you haven't been here before, welcome. Feel free to poke around, see what I've got on offer here. I focus a lot on going into the nitty-gritty details of the historical collections from Pleasant Company and American Girl. And I've gotten some questions about how I display my dolls, so I'm going to be sharing that with you. I'm going to walk through what my doll display looks like today, and yeah, I'll walk through that. I'll talk also about how I store things because I have a lot of clothes and accessories. And then at the end, if you're interested, I also will just kind of talk through what my plans are, just in kind of thinking about the long term and almost like a verbal mood board of what I would like to, have for my collection in the future, because right now I'm in a one bedroom and I just don't have a lot of space, unfortunately. But I've been cooking up a lot of ideas of how I would love to display my doll collection in the future when I'm able to have a two bedroom and have a doll room slash office. So, yeah, stay tuned for that if you're interested. I won't be showing where like my closet space is with a lot of my storage for my doll clothes because I don't want to like film all my clothes and stuff like that. So just so you know, I do have in my closet, I have a giant like tub that has American Girl doll and Pleasant Company boxes like for the 18-inch dolls, and I have some clothes in there, but mostly it's like those doll boxes and then all the boxes for the clothes. And then up in like, I have a corner of my closet where there's just like open shelving. I have some of the bottoms of the 18-inch doll boxes, like the harder cardboard part of the boxes. I put in the clothes that I'm like putting in for storage because I've already displayed them for the year. This year, the way that I'm displaying my dolls, at least for the beginning of the year, is to feature a one dolls collection, like one historical dolls collection, or two, depending on like how the numbers add up for that. So once I finish those, that doll, for example, I had Samantha a couple months ago. I put all of Samantha's clothes into those boxes and then I put them up there. So they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. And you'll see how I display the at least some of the collections that I haven't already displayed. There are some up there as well that I haven't displayed yet that I just haven't gotten around to moving. All right, I've been yapping for a while. If you like this kind of content, like, subscribe, all those good things. And now I'm going to jump back to me in the past so we can look through my collection together.
Okay, so I'm recording this from a phone, so bear with me because I normally record from a camera and I don't have a tripod. So I'm going to try my best to keep the footage as shake-free as possible. But yeah, I apologize in advance if it's a little bit shaky. So this is the kind of standard IKEA bookcase that everyone uses. I'm just going to kind of pan up and pan down so you can get the full scope of that. And so I have my Bratz collection and I also have my AG dolls in here. And then off to the side here, I have a little vignette. So I always have a bed here. And then I have more dolls in there. And then I have some clothes down there. So we'll go through all of that. And then over there, I have some more pieces. So we're just going to kind of go section by section. And I'm going to try and explain my thought processes and everything, yeah, along the way. So I'll just quickly get the brat stuff out of the way because I know most people don't care about that. So up here I have Molly's school desk, a Pleasant Company box, and then I have two inbox brats. I have Licorice and Felicity's lamb posy up there. So I kind of put different pets up there throughout that aren't in like other vignettes. And then I have most of my dolls sitting here. I have a few in the living room, and they're sitting on some of the American Girl doll books so that I put up so I can have a little bit of layering there. And then this next shelf is where I display my favorite looks for the month. Yeah, I know. I'm like so obsessed with rankings if you haven't been able to tell from my channel already. So you can see Josefina's on display, or her collection is on display for this month. These are my favorite looks from Josefina's collection. So they're on the top shelf. And then on the lower shelf are my least favorite looks, I guess, but I still really like them. Just to clarify, I feel like a lot of that is like always taken out of context. Like when I rank outfits and stuff, I like all of them, but everything can't be your favorite. So yeah, so then this is like the next tier over. And so I know you can fit more if you're there fully fully from the side. I don't like to have them squished together, which is why I have like other like ways to display them as well, or other bookshelves, I should say, to display them as well. And then down here is what I call my trinkets shelf. I am going to try and figure out a way to make this layered as well. I might add in some American Girl doll books here too. But basically, these are various different non-clothing accessories that I like to keep out because I feel like it kind of brings the stories to life. I also have a few of the minis here. So I have Kaya, I have Molly, and I have Addie. You can see the dolls. Dolls are back here. I have some lunches, some currency, hula implements, suitcases, boxes. I kind of switch up the display month to month, again, depending on whose collection I'm featuring. This album back here, just gonna move this. This album back here is where I store my pamphlets. So like here, for example, I have like several of Josefina's pamphlets. Yeah, I just like to have them so I can kind of easily pull them out and reference them, and I can keep them out of light in a protected space so I don't have to worry about them getting wet or anything like that. So that's what that looks like. This spot right here is where I usually have like a little scene set up. So right now, again, it's Josefina month, so I have the Josefina's weaving kit. And I have Ivy because she's in Josefina's weaving outfit, Melody because she's in the Learns the Lessons outfit, and Kaya here for the vibes, for a good time. And then you can see Samantha's desk is back there as well, and that's just because I wanted a place to put like the different yarn pieces. So that's there. And all along this bookshelf here, you can see I have all of the frame puzzles that have been made by American Girl. So if you didn't know, basically you could get these little puzzle sets. So it'd come with one of these frames. That's an illustration from one of their books. And then it would come with 2 additional puzzles. So I just Mod Podge those puzzles, and they just like fit perfectly down the side here. So yeah, they made them for Kit, Addie, Kaya, Samantha, Felicity, Josefina, and Molly. They didn't make them for any other. Oh, and Julie, sorry. Yeah, so a lot of like Kirsten never got any, Rebecca didn't get any. Yeah, I don't really know who was in charge of like deciding who got them or who didn't. So yeah, that's that corner, and here's the top view of this in case you're interested. And then moving over here. So I always have a bed sitting over here. I only have 2. I have Josefina's and I have Rebecca's. So I just kind of change them out depending on the vibe of whatever collection I'm featuring that month. Obviously, Josefina's is a no-brainer. I'm going to use her stuff. So I typically have the girlies who are wearing pajamas for that month hanging out on the bed. And then that's my mini me. I like having her kind of perched on the side over there. This is Josefina's end table. Those are actually Kirsten's flowers. And then that's Sombrita. So, and those are Rebecca's kitties, but I just think that they look really cute. So then this is the final kind of like doll display shelf for my American Girl dolls. This kind of has overflow or small collections. So you can see these are Ruthie's outfits. Ruthie doesn't have that many outfits. I'm also displaying Ruthie's collection this month. So yeah, they're there. And behind them are just some like paper dolls, and like Samantha's cookbook is there. Just some random books. So at the bottom here, I have a lot of American Girl doll clothes. This isn't even close to what I have. These are just some of the collections I haven't featured yet for the year. And this is 2 layers deep. I got this idea from Cheryl at Cherished Doll Friends. She put together making an American, or not just American Girl, but like a doll closet. And yeah, I decided to make kind of like a doll closet using similar materials just built into this bookshelf. And by the way, this bookshelf, I don't know what the model is. It is IKEA, but I just upcycled it. Someone in my building was throwing it out, so I just grabbed it from the trash room and works just fine for me. So it is 2 layers deep. So you can see I have other dolls collections back there, all stuffed up. And then at the bottom here, I just have a few random accessories that I wanted to keep out so I don't lose them. And then those are the frame puzzle boxes. But yeah, I basically just took these little hooks. There are holes already in there. So this bookshelf was supposed to be like turned horizontally instead of vertically. So I bought these little hooks and just screwed them in, and then put these little wooden, I'm blanking on the word, I'll put it on the screen, thingies here that are just the right size to hang the hangers. And yeah, I really like it. I think it brightens up the room. I think ideally for me, because I mean, I love my girlies, I love my dollies, like don't get me wrong, but I love them because they're my like little fashion models. So having more of the outfits displayed just like makes my heart happy. So then down under my little table with displays here, I have a lot of shoes and hats. So again, this is just something I found in the trash room. We love upcycling. So what I did here is, again, I have these little frame puzzle boxes, and I created like a little layering effect. So there's more shoes under there, and I just put boots up on top, and then I put the shoes down in here, and I have another one back there, same thing. And I have the hats that I don't want smushed just sitting on top of there. That's a random American Girl box with some of Molly's things because I'm afraid I'm going to confuse hers with some other dolls, so her shoes and accessories just live separately. Yeah, so that's that. So in terms of organization, I do also have these hanging things that American Girl made for a long time. I just acquired them randomly through lots. I didn't like go out and buy them, but I find them really useful for my own purposes. So basically, these hang in my personal closet, like with my own clothes, my human clothes, and I have the outfits for the next month hanging up here already, so that when it comes to be the day that I change all of them, it just is one less step for me to do, and it becomes just a lot less daunting. So I have them all hanging here. You can see it's Caroline and Mary Ellen's. So I have the outfits on their little hangers, and then in here I put like the shoes and hats and little accessories there. So they're all there. It just makes my life a lot easier to just grab whatever I want to steam it, and then put the outfits on. Yeah. If you're interested in my process, like how I change outfits and do my doll upkeep on like a monthly basis, I'm happy to do that. Just let me know. I can do more of like a vlog style video of that. But yeah, that's just one thing that makes my life easier. I highly recommend these. So there's like 4 little slots here, and I find that they can fit up to 3 hangers, just in case you're curious.
So besides my actual display with dolls, I also have books out in my living room. I have a couple like Bratz dolls out there as well. And then in my living room, I also have my desk where I have all of my tools that I use to restore dolls and fix dolls up. So I'm happy to show that too in another video if anyone's interested about that as well. So yeah, I'll just have some pictures going of my displays and my dolls and stuff like that. But in terms of my display goals, I mean, in an ultimate dream world, if I could ever afford a house, I would love to have a dedicated room with like actual room displays for each of the historical dolls, where like each doll slash doll pair, if they have like a best friend, has a bedroom or some other room. Like for Mary Ellen, for example, like I would love to have like a kitchen living room set up rather than like a bedroom, stuff like that. I don't think that that's realistic for me anytime soon. So, in terms of like being realistic, I do plan on moving into a 2 bedroom within like the next year or so. And when I do that, I would like to have a couple more bookcases and really only have like 2 to 3 American Girl dolls per like the shelf. And within that, then I would have a couple of like doll forms, like kind of like they look like kind of like mannequins, to display some of my other favorite outfits, and then also have some of like the smaller furniture sets. So I don't think realistically I can have more beds for the time being, but I do eventually want to have like all the desks for all the different dolls that they made desks for. And then things like, like Marie Grace and Cecile had like the vanity, or like a lot of them actually had more of like that wash stand type thing. Those kind of like smaller furniture sets, I think, would just help, again, like lighten things up. And then once I'm able to kind of do it that way, I would like to put up like a fake like wallpaper and flooring and things like that that fit the character. Um, yeah, so that's kind of what I'm picturing in the interim until I can have my dream house where I basically live in a dollhouse myself. Yeah, I also will want to have like little display rooms for my brats as well. Obviously, brats are a lot smaller than American Girl dolls, so I think that that's a much more doable. The way that I pictured those, though, is just having more of like uh, shelves that are kind of like cubes and having like if you don't know brats they kind of have like collections where they have different themes, so there'll be like anywhere between like 3 and 8 characters that are all dressed up for a particular theme. And I like to, if I like the theme, I like to collect all the dolls in that theme. And so yeah, so like having a, like for example like the slumber party room and then like setting up a little slumber party vignette, or then like the going out dolls, like setting up almost like a club kind of vibe vignette or like a bar. And yeah, kind of going about it that way. I think I'll be able to do that in the nearer future than like, the big American Girl doll houses, because as much as I love American Girl, they are big and it makes things a little bit harder for that. I would like to integrate some of the trunks into my collection. So, in particular, Samantha and Molly's trunks, I'm very interested in getting and having them displayed somehow. But those are kind of harder to find. There's like a Craigslist posting near me, and it's Molly's trunk for $85. And I've been like, ugh, I've been hemming and hawing about it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm like $85. it is a good deal for it, but I also am like, "Ugh, I don't want to spend $85." So I know I'm preaching to the choir. I'm sure that y'all go through those like mental gymnastics all the time about whether or not something is worth it. So yeah, I'm still deciding right now, but I would like to at least finish out the year with one trunk. So yeah. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, walking through my display, walking through what I would like to do in the future. I'm always so curious to hear how people display their things. So if you have ideas of how I could switch things up, let me know. Keep in mind that I have very little space to work with. But yeah, let me know how you do it. If you collect multiple different types of dolls, like how do you divvy them up? Do you put them all together? Do you separate them? Do you do little vignettes? What's your vibe? Let me know. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you staying all the way till the end. And yeah, take care. I'll see you in the next video.